If we may dare to talk about prophecy in the world of art, this, in Andy Warhol's sense, is related to a vision of popularity accessible to everyone. The recent TV reality formats have definitely achieved the prediction of Andy Warhol's 15-minute television series, produced in 1987. In the World Wide Web and social network era, David Bowie will no longer sing his rhyme, "Where are my 15 minutes?" as now it's in all of our reach. Inside the Silver Factory, the Bolex camera was always loaded and ready to record the life of the studio-goers during every moment of their life, from sleeping to going to the bathroom, having a haircut, or kissing, or during sex, eating and drinking. They all have 24 frames per second speed shots, serving the avant-garde reality cinema, or in the attempt to emulate what Truman Capote brilliantly announced in his exciting novel Cold Blood. The novelist wanted to find the last frontier of writing based on absolute truth, drawing on the most sensational murder news stories. Moreover, the admiration for Truman had become more than an obsession with Warhol, who was seduced by the catchy writer of Breakfast at Tiffany's, and by the shrill voice of the dandy playwright, who concealed his own excesses, but not his sexual taste. So the series of images Death and Disaster, where creativity has helped form the present-day debate on the death penalty in the United States, sparking a fierce public debate in the media, is a common trait among the artists who commonly treated themes inspired by the spirit of their time. Warhol strove hard, trying to escape what was generally assumed as classical and therefore artificial. And so he claims that all of my films are artificial, but then everything is sort of artificial. I do not know where the artificial stops and the real starts. Only when Paul Morrissey became Warhol's chief production assistant do we begin to see the accomplishment of a complete story in his films in general terms. The first television ideas were implemented with the arrival of the manager Vincent Fremont in the 1970s. Unfortunately, this is the ground where the attacks on the artist and his world became brutal, dirty, poisonous, especially those of Robert Hughes, who completely belittled or rejected the works in his article in the New Review of Books. The special relationship of Warhol with the visual arts often refers to his Polaroid that is permanently hanging around the neck of the artist. He found a solution with a new method that reduced the time required to perform. The traditional oil portrait is time-consuming, as such a technique involves long sessions and too many working steps. That's why, for instance, he decided to drag Ethel into a public photo booth. Ethel was the wife of Robert Skoll, a wealthy New Yorker who commissioned the portrait. Behind the curtain they took 24 films, each with 4 passport-type photos. Warhol enlarged the selected ones and created the portrait of 36 electric blue, vivid green acid squares. Playing with seriality, he relied on casual and dynamic patterns, from which he caught the exuberance and real energy of his client, and catching her attention forever. If the evolution of the pop world found its way into the graffiti of the advertising panels of the subway, Kate Herring is certainly the main interpreter. In 1986, Warhol persuaded Herring to open the pop shop and promote it with a t-shirt in Lafayette Street in New York. The initial intent was to produce art in every aspect of life. Herring said, "The use of commercial projects has enabled me to reach millions of people whom I would not have reached by remaining an unknown artist. I assumed, after all, that the point of making art was to communicate and contribute to culture. This is why I have the pop shop and can make video with Grace Jones." The idea of inserting a space of self-fame into an exhibition could be accepted as a tribute to the seriality of faces of the countless stars of the factory. In a similar way, we want to reproduce together with our visitors the infinite film of people who attended the factory, outlined for what they were in one of the most interesting moments in the history of contemporary art.